Hello, I'm Bernie Hayes. Today we'll be talking about motion with videographer Latrelle Yancey today on The Bernie Hayes Show. And welcome back. Like I said, my guest is Latrelle Yancey. Mr. Yancey, how are you, sir?
How you doing, Mr. Hayes? I'm honored to be here this morning.
Well, it's an honor to have you. The shirt that you're wearing, 2 Live Media, what does that mean?
So 2 Live Media is my production company that I started in 2019. I actually took the acronyms Latrelle Yancey Visual Entertainment. So that's why you see the spelling of L-Y-V-E. And the number 2, something that's been a number that's been significant in our family. The 2 is just a lucky number for us. So just wanted to put that in there to kind of stick with the tradition.
So what do you actually do, Latrelle?
So I'm a videographer. I just kind of pretty much focus on shooting promotional events. I've shot concerts. I've shot music videos. I've shot political events that are going on, charitable events that are going on. So anything that I can do to try to bring that vision to life, that's pretty much my objective.
Where'd you get your training?
Actually, it was kind of self-trained. I went to school for video production, mass comm, with an emphasis in video and television production. But as far as actually being able to put some things together, I really was kind of self-taught, even though I graduated from Harris-Stowe with a communications degree. So I try to put that to use. But the vision, it just pretty much kind of comes naturally.
Okay. Harris-Stowe State University with a communications degree.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you use that? Is that good for your resume?
Oh, absolutely. Being able to, there's a lot of things that go into the videography part of it, besides just the actual camera work to it. So being able to come from Harris-Stowe State University and such a prestigious HBCU here in St. Louis, absolutely a benefit to be able to have that on my resume.
How do you choose your equipment, Latrelle?
I actually did a lot of research, man, and just trying to see what would be the best thing for me. Obviously camera friendly, didn't want anything too complicated, but wanted to be able to learn. So I just spent days and days and days of just researching different types of cameras, and I ended up coming across the Panasonic GH5, which I love. I love the quality of it. It shoots in 4K. I was able to learn about the lighting and the use of it, and just ever since then I've been using it, man. I've been getting some good quality film work with it.
Bob Dimler, our producer and production manager and director here, he's very familiar with 4K. In fact, we did some things that he brought, transfer to 4K here on his TriCast and so forth. You saw the operation here. What do you think of it?
Oh, it's unbelievable. The cameras everywhere, the soundboard. I always get a little bit of I get excited when I see the equipment in here because I feel like I just want to go in and just start pressing every button that I see. But it's just amazing to me to be able to see the work of, especially a one-man crew who can come in and set up the camera, set up the mic, do the soundboard, set everything up for the show. Like, spectacular, man. It's phenomenal.
How does this compare to your operation?
It's not as quite as big, but as far as once you start learning everything about camera work and editing and everything in that sort, you kind of start to put it together with everything else, just different terminology based. Like being a football coach, you may go to a different team, the playbook, the plays are all the same, but the terminology is different.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. You've done some work with Demetrius Johnson. Yes,
Demetrius Johnson, been a guy that covered me in football as a kid growing up, playing at high school. Got the opportunity to play with my father in high school and also got a chance to cover my son. So being around three generations of my family, Demetrius has been a guy that's definitely put me in opportunities to be able to work with him and his charitable foundation, being able to film him give away toys, him give away turkeys on Thanksgiving, him, just recently he gave a check to a guy who was in need of a prosthetic leg, him and TJ Wise contracting.
Yeah.
And it was just makes me want to give back, seeing him every time I go somewhere and I'm able to film and let people see the good work that he's doing in the community.
I've got to get DJ on the show. He's a very good friend.
Absolutely.
In fact, his whole family was very, very close to me.
Absolutely.
I understand that you did the STL Festival recently.
Yes, the STL Fest. Man, that was just such a great experience. It's kind of crazy. Quick story is that I've always loved to watch concerts, and I just remember going to a concert a couple of years ago and seeing people video on stage and seeing people videos that had access to backstage. And I just told myself, I was like, man, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to do that. I want to be able to be that guy that's on the stage. So when I got the call that I had the opportunity to be a part of the STLFest as far as videography, I jumped right on it. And it was just, I was really in my element. Like, I didn't want to leave. I wanted the night to keep going. It was just a great overall experience, man. I got a chance to be with those artists.
Maybe we can see just a little bit of the STL Festival from this year. Bob Dimlett has a clip for us, I do believe. Would you explain what we're seeing?
So right now, this is the STL Fest. A lot of the local St. Louis artists, a lot of big artists, people that have established themselves as artists in the industry, and booths that were set up for people who wanted to come and promote their products, and DJs and food. And it was at the St. Louis City Foundry, and just a great venue. It was great to get everybody back outside. It was great to be a part of, St. Louis history. This was the first time they were able to do this. Some of the guys, Willie Moore Jr., Murphy Lee, Reggie's son, formerly known as Shorty the Prince. And just to be able to be a part of the filming of it was just a great opportunity, man. I had a blast.
So this is your work. How did the pandemic affect you, Latrelle?
It actually, it affected a lot of us in ways of where we couldn't get outside. And as a videographer, you want to get outside, you want to get in these events, you want to bring those events to life. But it also gave me an opportunity to work on my craft. It gave me an opportunity to learn how to do better editing, and it taught me how to be able to work with people who aren't physically in front of me. We may have to get on and do some zooming or do an event. We had to maybe wear our mask, but and overall, the pandemic was actually something that kind of benefited for me because it allowed me to be able to sit in my house and learn.
Okay, so you use it as a teaching experience.
Absolutely.
Okay. There's so much I want to talk to you about, especially in video. How did you choose the cameras that you use, and how many cameras were used in that little clip you just showed us?
I actually used one camera.
Wow.
I was just, one thing I'm starting to learn is, I can kind of see certain shots in my brain. So when I'm filming, I know, to me, what looks right. So I just kind of take that with it and kind of use my lens, the lenses in my eyes, as a way to be able to figure out the type of angles and clips that I want to use for post-production.
Do you do weddings and other events such as those, and,
yes,
and meetings and so forth?
Yes, I've done weddings. I've actually done about 2 or 3 weddings. I've got a wedding booked for next week. I've done anniversary. I've done vow renewals. So I look at myself as being a brand of production versatility. You can book me for a music video. You can book me for a promo event. You can book me for a performance, a birthday party, a baby reveal, a graduation. I just look at me being versatile. I feel like I can come and film anything.
How can we reach you?
My Instagram is the number 2, LYVE _media. And my email address is LatrelleYancey22@gmail.com.
You're a communications major.
Yes, sir.
Now, you said that too fast. So once again, would you kind of repeat how to reach you, please?
All right. So my email address is Latrelle Yancey. That's my name. The number 22@gmail.com. And my Instagram is the number 2, live _media. That's LYVE _media.
Okay. I know also, now I want to thank you for your videos of the gospel concert that we presented at Harris-Stowe State University on June 7th. And perhaps even one day we'll be showing that here on channel 24.2 in LAC TV. Yes. But Latrelle, what's your future plans?
To become a film producer and director. I've got some opportunities ahead in the future to be able to work on my own personal film and bringing up my own video content. So that's a dream of mine, is to be able to start working and starting in videography, and I love it. But my passion and my dream of mine is to be able to bring some things to light in regards of maybe some short films or some documentaries, and just overall just being able to produce my own content.
Putting things in motion, right?
Yes, sir.
Latrelle Yancey is my guest, and we'll be back after this short break. But I'd like to remind you that we're the New Life Evangelistic Center 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. But Reverend Larry Rice and the crew is still trying to reopen 1411 Locust Street. They want to make that a place where you can come, the homeless or those downtrodden may come to take baths and change clothes and get socks and so forth. So we'll be right back with Latrelle Yancey after this.
For so many years, Bernie Hayes has been bringing the needs of our community to each and every one of us. I thank God for his program, and it helps many people that otherwise would not understand the needs of the homeless. Homeless people continue to remain out in our parks. There are many homeless people that have no place to go, whether it's by day or by night. Bernie's been bringing that need before you. Now, it's absolutely critical that you respond. We have a new administration finally that seems very sensitive to the needs of the homeless. Let's let her, yes, our new mayor, Tashara Jones, know that Bernie Hayes viewers and supporters are behind her as she takes steps to confront some very vicious forces in downtown St. Louis that are diametrically opposed to even having the homeless down there. They'd shove them all out somewhere, dump them in the river if they could get away with it. They don't really care. But I know that you care, so we got to confront these downtown St. Louis interests that are refusing to allow 1411 Locust to open up. We can get the job done. If you'll pray and become an advocate in behalf of such, contact the mayor's office and let her know that you believe strongly it needs to be open right now. Your prayers and advocacy would definitely make a big difference. Homeless people shouldn't have to try to curl up wherever they can, sit, sleep, stand, wander the streets all night long, and by daytime. Where's the downtown shelter that's open during the daytime that homeless people can come into? Even when they can get into pop-up shelters in the wintertime, they're still dumped in the streets during the day. Let's get 1411 Locust to open back up at this time. Let's believe God as we do new architectural plans that they'll be received by this new administration, and we can go on and get the necessary funds that we need in order to get that building open back up. We're ready to make the repairs. And I thank God for all of Bernie Hayes' viewers and supporters that have been standing with us all these years. But now it's time we come together. Let me know that you're willing to do that. Call us at 314-421-3020. You can follow us at nlecstl.org. But let's do it, folks. The time has come to do it now.
Welcome back. My guest is Latrelle Yancey. He's a videographer, and he's my guest today. And he's a very good friend and a graduate of Harris-Stowe State University. What actually recommended him for some wonderful events that I know about. Latrelle, tell us about your elementary school, high school, college.
Okay, so I'm a high school graduate of Webster Groves High School. I played football, had a stint at football for a while and kind of chased that dream for a minute. Ended up going to play at Lindenwood University for a second, and I left there, took a break. Had my son and my kids and just kind of took care of the family. But there was a time where I really wanted to go back to school and finish, not only just for myself, but I wanted to show my family that, it doesn't matter when you finish it or how you start, it's how you finish. So I wanted to be able to get an opportunity to finish my degree. That was definitely a heavy weight on me, and I was granted the opportunity to finish at Harris-Stowe State University.
And why did you choose to become a videographer?
I just think visuals is something that I've always had a passion for. I've always loved sports, and I coached. I got the opportunity to do some amazing things as a mentor and a coach. But I've always wanted to do something to where I can be able to express myself visually. And I think videography was the perfect opportunity. And once I started learning how to execute that plan, that's when everything started rolling. I just wasn't sure of how to be able to work the cameras or do the editing or anything of that nature. But once I started learning those things, it's kind of like opening up a bottle that was ready to burst, man. I was ready to get those things out of my head.
Was it more complicated than you anticipated?
It's some things can be complex, but it's gratifying to be able to see your work come to life. So it's worth it. And the more I learn and the more that I'm learning, the better it's getting. Okay,
we still have another clip that you did for the St. Louis Fest, STL Fest. Mm-hmm. And I think Bob Dimler is going to show that to us right now, and you can tell us what it's about.
Okay. All right. So these are, again, a lot of the St. Louis artists. I was able to showcase a young lady who was an entrepreneur in lip gloss. So she ended up selling me lip gloss that I can be able to get to my daughter. Murphy Lee and Keywan State, all these guys are local St. Louis artists, man, who are unbelievably talented. And it was just a pleasure to be amongst all those guys and be on stage and them put together this thing and be able to get special guests like Willie Moore Jr. who definitely made his stamp in the St. Louis, from St. Louis in the music industry. So overall, man, it was just a great venue, great fest. I hope they continue to put it on, and I look forward to being there next year.
This is great. Do you also do music videos?
Yes, sir. I've worked on quite a few music videos. I've worked with an artist out of St. Louis by the name of Josh Royal. I've worked with an artist by the name of Dylan Conway, Morgan Taylor. I got a really good friend of mine who's in the gospel industry by the name of Kyle Hubbard, who goes by Tory Starks. I was able to, he was actually one of the first people to give me an opportunity to work on this video, and came out amazing. And it just gave me the confidence to continue on and continue to work with artists in the local area.
Mm-hmm. Is it difficult? Do you have to change filters or anything, or lighting when you go? I noticed you started in the afternoon for the STL Fest, and it transitioned to darkness. So how did you make that transition in your cameras?
Yes, I do have a filter that I use earlier in the day, just depending on the time of day I shoot. Sometimes it can be overblown in the background, so I do have a filter that I use to be able to kind of like turn the brightness down on the computer a little bit. On the camera a little bit, so that I can be able to get greater shots. As it gets towards the later part of the evening, I do have a RGB light that I use, and I'm able to do some functions in the camera to set the ISO down to where I can be able to just get a really good clear shot in low light situations.
For young people watching us right now, or not necessarily young people, but people watching us right now, would you suggest them go into this industry to become a videographer?
One thing I could say is that nowadays with technology, everybody can become a videographer. You know, you got iPhones, you got access to cameras. I just think now we have access to things that in my day we didn't really have as much access to it. So everybody can become their own videographer. I just think you have to have a passion for it. I think you have to have a vision, because it takes work. It's nothing that you can just throw some things together, because people are going to judge your product. And I just think there's so many different ways to express yourself creatively through your vision that if you have that type of passion, I love it. I really love doing it. I can get up every morning. I can do this every day without no one having to tell me to go out and do this. So I just feel like if you have a passion for this, you want to express yourself visually, this is the perfect industry to get into.
On Facebook and Instagram and other platforms, I see people checking cell phone video, and it's always so shaky. They don't realize that they got to hold a shot for so long in order for it to be presentable. I see them with it's just shaky, and they won't concentrate on one particular thing. They just take it and zoom and pan and, they just go from side to side and up and down. Well, what's the trick to that, Latrelle?
Well, the first thing is the preparation part of it. Having a shot list, having a storyboard, just having a vision of what it is you want to get before you actually get there. There's also things that you can use, stabilizers and gimbals and things of that nature that you can always order online. It's so many different ways that you can be able to do that. It's just a matter of just learning tips and tricks and practice.
How about the sound from a regular telephone, say Android or iPhone? There's just the average cell phone that the person has. Is that good for taking pictures and movies?
Oh, absolutely, Mr. Hayes. It's kind of crazy, because when I first got started in this thing, my biggest problem was, I don't have this or I don't have that. The first project that I was able to do, I used my iPhone. I used my iPhone first, and then I learned how to use a gimbal or a stabilizer that I ordered offline. And I just started practicing with it. And the quality was so good that nobody would ever even recognize that I did that first video. I did my first music video with an iPhone. The entire video was shot with an iPhone.
And now your ambition is to become a movie producer or director?
Yes, sir. I would love to be able to get into making my own films and create my own content.
Mm-hmm. What's your plan for that?
Just right now, just working with local people who want to become aspiring actors and actresses, aspiring videographers, people who want to get in this industry, who want to put their footprint in right now. And, sometimes, you got people that are already established that may not have the time. So I love to work with up and coming people. I love to work with videographers and filmmakers who want to collab. So I'm just, trying to put content together and work with people who are willing to work with me. And we can try to get some things going and collab on some projects and get some scripts written, and let's get this thing going.
Is there age limit or any demographics that you suggest to do this, and how can they reach you?
Anybody that's, I'm looking to work with interns in the future, or anyone who is aspiring to be, they can always contact me on with my email address, which is Latrelle Yancey 22, the number 22, at gmail.com, or they can contact me on Instagram, which is the number 2 live_media, and that's the number 2 LYVE_media.
I understand Instagram is a companion to Facebook, so I assume you're on Facebook also?
Yes, they can also reach me at 2 Live Media on Facebook.
Okay. Latrelle Yancey is my guest, and we're at the New Life Evangelistic Center, and Reverend Larry Rice has been here nearly 50 years, not at this particular location, but doing what he does for nearly half a century. And we'll be back with Latrelle Yancey after these few words.
The Bernie Hayes program is produced at NLEC TV right here at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. It's our new headquarters since they closed the 1411 Locust building. We're working to get back into that building. In addition to that, trying to help so many people through a wide variety of safe houses, training programs, transportation assistance, so many ways people are getting help because of all of you that are supporting the work of New Life Evangelistic Center. Now, if you'll send a gift of $25 or more, we want to send you this special, the Bernie Hayes Show cup. And we're giving that to people. It's just a way of saying thank you. So when you send your gift, request a cup. We'll be happy to get it off to you. It's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org. Now I'm really asking all of you to join us in praying. The needs are so phenomenal at this particular time. So many hurting and homeless people are contacting us daily, but we're able to help them because of each one of you that are praying, caring, and sharing at this time. Tell your families and friends about NLEC TV and get directly involved yourself.
Our Black History subject for today is Corporal Roman Ducksworth, Jr., a military police officer who was born in 1934. Ducksworth was on leave to visit his sick wife in Fort Ritchie, Maryland. His wife was expecting a sixth child, and he was ordered by a police officer to get off a bus, but she was traveling. He refused to get off the bus, and he was shot. It is believed that the police officer may have mistaken Ducksworth for a freedom rider who was testing bus desegregation laws. The NAACP took the case, but Ducksworth's murder was ruled a justifiable homicide. In 1946, a Supreme Court ruled that groups seating on interstate buses was banned. And after Ducksworth's murder, the courts tried to say that he was drunk and shot in self-defense. However, the family disagreed. The family of Ducksworth continued to this day to wait for justice for his murder. When Ducksworth died, he was only a few months short of finishing 10 years of service in the U.S. Army. He died April 9, 1962. Ducksworth received full military honors and a 16-gun salute. Corporal Roman Ducksworth, Jr.
Instead of building more walls, as believers, we need to break through the walls and let the rivers of living water begin to flow within us. Walls being built in churches. So many moving into a political direction rather than a godly direction. So many interjecting the politics here, there, and everywhere. And most of the time it's walls that are separating us from people. People who do not have the resources we might have. People who don't have different colored skin. All of this takes place. And it's so grieving to God. Let's break through the walls through the power of our resurrected Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Remember James, first chapter, last verse? This is true and perfect religion, to keep oneself unstained from the world. Remember the fatherless and widow in their affliction? It sums up the need for morality and justice in our individual lives. So instead of building more walls, let's allow the walls to be broken down, and let's let the love of God flow through us into the lives of the hurting and needy at this critical hour.
And welcome back. Latrelle Yancey is my guest. He's a videographer. Latrelle, Bob Dimler had a question for you also. When people do take video on their cell phones, how is the audio? How does it sound?
The sound is not the best. Like I said, when you're using a phone, you got to understand what you're dealing with, the equipment that you're dealing with. So you have to be very technical about where you use it and how you use it in the location, indoors or outdoors. There are ways that you can be able to add as another piece to your phone, whether it be lavalier mics, and you can try and do it that way. But again, I just try to be really conscious about where I shoot if I'm using sound for that particular project. Sometimes I add music to the background and I don't need sound. But if I'm in a studio or if I'm getting an interview, I try to be mindful of where I'm actually shooting that footage so that I can try to get at least some decent quality audio to work with.
It sounds very important. I understand there's a new project that you're working on too that you want to tell us about.
Yes. One of the things that makes me excited is the opportunity to be able to give back. So there were times where I would think about what can I do to make that happen. And I came up with an opportunity to be able to work on building a foundation under 2 Live Media. And that will be able to branch off in the near future so that I can be able to give back to our community as well. With that, it allows me to be able to come up with a scholarship opportunity that I'm going to put in my mother's name. In June of 2016, unfortunately, I lost my mother to breast cancer. And I wanted to do something in honor of her. She was a cosmetologist, a beautician, did it from the time I was in the 3rd grade up until the time she passed. She owned her own shop. And so I wanted to do something to be able to remember her and put a scholarship in her name for students that want to go to beauty school or go to barber school as well. So all of this is in the making. It's in the definitely it's in the near future. And I look forward to presenting those foundations to you and that scholarship information to you at a later date.
Mighty ambitious project. How can they reach you, Latrelle Yancey?
They can reach me at my email address, which is Latrelle Yancey, LatrelleYancey, the number 22 @gmail.com. They can also reach me on Instagram. It will be at the number 2 live_media. That's the number 2 LYVE_media.
Are you particular about the jobs that you take, the events that you shoot?
Well, the hardest thing is saying no, because you want to try to capture everything, and for me, the more projects, the better. Every project I do, I'm learning something different. So it's kind of hard to say no, but it's very time consuming. The editing process is very rigorous. It takes time. You have to color grade. You have to find clips. Sometimes everything doesn't work out the first round. You have revisions. So there's a process to it. But I enjoy that process because it's teaching me a lot. And at the same time, I love when I'm able to accomplish what the client wants and it looks good. And gives me an opportunity to advertise what I can do and makes everybody happy.
And when you do your events, I assume you follow the guidelines for this traumatic COVID-19 epidemic.
Absolutely.
I assume you stay distancing and so forth.
Oh, absolutely, man. Everybody's masked up. I actually have consent forms that I have for COVID consent forms that I have my clients sign, especially if I'm going to be in closed spaces or if I'm doing something like a music video or an event. And I just always try to make sure that I follow the guidelines and keep a mask on at least and make sure that I'm sanitizing my hands when I'm at my event and after.
This tribute to your mom, does it have a theme for it yet? Do you have a name for it?
Well, actually, we're coming up with the name right now, and it's kind of in the works. I've came up with a couple of names. Before I throw it out there, I just want to make sure that that's the one that I want to use. She owned a shop called Carla's Casual Creations, and I'm thinking about using something in that manner because I just want to make sure, one, it has her name in it, and two, the purpose behind the reason why I'm gearing more towards cosmetology.
Latrelle Yancey, I want to say thank you for coming and visit with us today. You're a very, very important young man, and you're a very, very knowledgeable young man, and I want to say thank you. It was just a pleasure meeting you and doing work with you. And I just wish you the very, very best, and thank you so much for visiting with us.
No, I want to thank you for this opportunity. A pleasure always. Talking to you and meeting you was an honor. So I just wanted to tell you thank you for allowing me to be able to be on this platform.
Very kind. And thanking each and every one of you for supporting NLAC TV, channel 24.2. And we're 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri, in case you want to bring by some cases of water, some clothing, things that the people in need. I'm Bernie Hayes. Have a great day. Stay safe. Thank you again.